I love your typical action blockbuster movie and the action novels where your typical hero meets a girl and meets trouble with a capital T, where his world just seems to fall apart and things are happening and he needs to rise to the occasion to overcome it all. Our hero must go into battle to fight, to rescue his damsel, to rescue the world, to rescue life as we know it now. A Cinderella story. Yeah, right. Well, my name is Neil Thompson, and I'm really glad to be here today as we look at this question and others like it, as we wrestle with the big question of life. What if there was a kernel of truth to these Hollywood stories that resonated with all of humanity? Well, to help us address this question today, I've asked Heather Naomi to come into our studio. Heather, welcome to our studio today.
Thanks,
and we really want to look at this question. And Heather, as we do, everyone needs a hero. So just tell me, what is your hero, your favourite movie?
My favourite movie, Neil, would be The Pursuit of Happiness, because I love the character that Will Smith plays. He just absolutely hits rock bottom, but he will not give up, and he does everything he can to fight back, to not only preserve his own life, but for his little son, who's so vulnerable. And the fact that it's even a true story just amazes me. I love watching the bit on the end.
So a real action hero?
A real hero. He has to take action. He's running all the time. He gets hit by a car, and just life knocks the stuffing out of him.
So with that movie and others like it, do you think there's a kernel of truth to these Hollywood movies that resonates with people?
I think that's why Hollywood makes these movies. It's because deep in our hearts, not just women who want to watch Pretty Woman. I think you said it's one of your favourite stories.
Yeah, Pretty Woman is one of my favourite stories.
The Cinderella,
story.
where people come through the things that are wrong in their life and the sadness and the pain and the terror, and they get past it. And they don't usually do it on their own, though. They have someone who can help them. And we all crave that hero.
So this kind of action hero almost sounds a bit like a Star Wars type movie, you know, where you know, a larger-than-life character comes in and rescues the planet or the galaxy or something like that.
And fights evil.
And fights evil.
Yes.
In your experience in life, have you ever sort of encountered that sort of a conflict between good and evil, the forces of good and evil?
Yes, very, very much, Neil. I have had to wrestle with the forces of evil in my own life, that people have made a choice and then I've had to bear the consequences of a wrong and evil choice. So I'm very aware of that.
Okay.
And I'm also aware of the good side of things.
Okay,
you know,
so have you had an experience where you can actually say, oh, look, there was a moment which was kind of like a spiritual moment where there was a force at work in the world?
Yes. I survived a motor vehicle accident about 4 years ago where I got rear-ended by a loaded cement truck, and so ouch. And it's taken me this long to sort of get back on my feet. I'm still recovering my health, and yet I wasn't aware really of angels. But about nearly 20 years ago, I was living in a third world country, and we had gone up this mountain, and on the way back down, even though the other teacher with me put his hand out and took my hand, my leg just went right up from under me and I crashed back against these very jagged rocks. Now, I was winded, but from years ago as a nurse, I should have had bruising. I would highly likely have had cracked ribs, no injuries whatsoever. But when I got up and got my thoughts together, got my breath back, I thought, that's really weird. There's still this pressure in my back, but it doesn't feel like the rocks. And this has never happened to me before or since, but I traced the feeling, this imprint in my back, and it was this huge hand. It filled my whole back.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
It made me think of Psalm 91, that they'll lift you up so you won't dash your foot against a rock. But what I really thought was, man, if that's the hand of my guardian angel, how big is he?
Must be very big, I'd say, Heather.
Yeah.
You know, one of the really interesting things is, as we look at that, we can see angels at work, maybe in our own lives.
Yes.
But even out through Earth's history, there's been angels at work. And right now, we want to actually just take a little look at an Amish community, because I had the privilege of visiting there a few years ago.